Okay, good morning, everybody. Apologies for that. Zoom, for nearly the first time in 2 years, attempted to scupper everything by locking me out entirely of the system. I'm going to have a look at that because that was a bit scary for about 10 minutes. I couldn't get anything out of it. But here I am in electronic form, and a ridge of high pressure is continuing to build over the country with this Azores high, and that's introducing some much more settled conditions than we've experienced over the last sort of month, I'd say. And as we go through the week, it will start to warm up. Some uncertainty about towards the end of the week at the moment. I'll keep my fingers crossed for the longest day, but it does look like it's going to get warmer, potentially even hot later in the week. But for today, still fairly average temperatures for this time of year and a westerly wind. That westerly wind is still quite noticeable, sort of 15 knots. It's probably in our area from the west. In the centre of the country, probably around 20 knots. Satellite picture over the UK is showing sort of a little bit of cloud just to our south and west. It might just cut down the temperatures a little bit, and I think David had seen that on the forecast. Maybe even some wave interference. You can see some wave bars coming off sort of the Denbigh area. That may well extend further south as well, and across into the Cotswolds and Oxfordshire. So something to be aware of today is that wave interference. We'll have a look at SkySight as well to see what's happening there. Public forecast shows today a bright start with mixed amounts of cloud during the day, a top temperature of 20 degrees, good visibility and westerly wind. Looking at GFS, though, saying again about 20 degrees and dew points somewhere around the 8-degree mark. Currently at Odium, they have no cloud detected, temperature 14, dew point of 10. We'll just have a look at some other TAFs and METARs we have today. Same at Farnborough, scattered at 4,500 feet. Look up towards Brize Norton. And again, few at 2,100 currently, and scattered at 4,000 for most of the day. So a reasonable outlook, no real significant weather today. Currently at Lasham, we're temperature of 14, dew point of 10. And you can see that we are starting to see dew point and temperature split. Okay, looking at potential flight distance for today. Yeah, that is today. Better to the north of us. There, as I said, the wind is going to be a factor today. But as we look at it starting, I'm not sure how early it will start, but looking at this, by around 12 o'clock, it might get a little bit too cloudy around here. And as I look outside, yeah, there's a potential of that. To our north, by midday, we're seeing cloud base 4,000 feet widely across Oxfordshire, into Cambridgeshire and into South Wales. It gets a little bit better by sort of 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, where the clouds should thin a bit more, and we should see convection here up to 5,000 to 5,500 feet, maybe even 6,000 feet in certain places. Top Meteo very wisely showing sea air incursion from the west today off the Bristol Channel. Shouldn't reach us, but obviously probably much west of Marlborough, Devizes area, you may come into contact with sea air from the Bristol Channel. So yeah, not a day to be spending in Somerset, not that we go there that often. But by sort of 2, 3 o'clock widely, not so good to our south today, but up in towards Husbos and out into Wales, out into Cambridgeshire, looking very reasonable indeed. And sort of still going late. I mean, we are very close to Midsummer's Day now, so convection going to 7 o'clock, I'd imagine quite easily. It was even sawable at 7:30, 8 o'clock as I flew back from Blackbush yesterday. Cloud amounts. Looking here, as I said, it does get a little bit cumulus congested this morning, probably linked with some high cover as well, but it does brighten up this afternoon, blue to shallow Q, so not bad. Site forecast on here shows reasonable climbs and getting higher throughout the day. As I said, maybe a little bit of a blip during the middle part of the day if it gets a little bit too cloudy. Dew points of around 9 degrees, dropping to 7 degrees and 6 degrees during the day. Looking at sky sights, which is one of the new things we're doing here at Lasham now, is we're using sky sights to back up top meteo or disprove top meteo. Again, still looking very reasonable up through to the east of Oxford, up into Wales. Not so good down to the west, southwest, or to the southeast today. Yeah, looking reasonable over a wide area. And thermal strengths, you can see here. A little bit, these dots indicate that there's some potential of some wind shear in the thermals, but it's not too bad. Reasonable climbs across that task area I was speaking of. And cumulus cloud base this afternoon, very easily sort of 5,000 feet or so. Maybe even higher locally. Let's see, just have a look at this morning, sort of lunchtime overdevelopment risk, and you can see there is a bit of an overdevelopment risk where it goes red this morning, but by this afternoon that risk reduces substantially. Just have a look at let's just have a look at wave as well, just so that you're happy where that might be. If top meteo is actually modeling it correctly, the SkySight's modeling it correctly, which it might not be. No, not particularly, but looking at the charts, there is a risk of wave interference the further west you go. And finally, a SKU-T for Lasham today. So looking at that, yeah, a bit cloudy to start with 3,000 foot, and then this afternoon drying out to allow 1,500 meter cloud bases with a temperature of around 18 degrees. So all in all, not a bad day, not a particularly early start, probably slightly better to our north than here really. And yeah, a westerly wind. NOTAM wise, there's a few things going on. Aston down gliding competition. I know a number of people from here and there at the moment. Fly past at Swindon at around 12:05 to 12:50. Let's go around the map. Looking at winch gliding at Middle Wallop, 18, 16, 15. Let's have a look. Fly past at Thruxton at 12:15 to 1300. That's Battle of Britain almost surely. Lots of paragliders. What a surprise. And Cosford, I don't think you're going up there particularly, but if you're going anywhere near Cosford, just avoid it like the plague, because there's red arrows displays, restricted air temporaries. Yeah, just don't go near it. It's my best suggestion. It's active all day and up to 8,000 feet. 23, 26, there'll be fly pasts in the Oxfordshire area. And 2025, that doesn't matter. 25 is an equestrian events, and that's Swindon again. So on the whole, busy up to the west, past sort of Aston down and up towards Cosford, but better in our area. And again, fly past on the south coast. So operationally today, runway 27 in use, no jet movements, and grid as required on the north side grass, please. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the airfield. Bye for now.